Hey guys, MaliciousCompliance here, and today I am back with another episode of r/MaliciousCompliance. The story where it's like, you follow it to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. Today I've got 3 stories lined up. Let's get right into it. Don't bother me unless it's an emergency. This morning I got into my car and I realized I left my headlights on. Thankfully, modern technology meant it had automatically switched off when the key was removed. But it reminded me of a time where that wasn't so. Many years ago, I was working one of my first jobs in a little cafe, nearing the end of my training period. It was a quiet day, perfect to put the newbie on with only one experienced staff member. The experienced staff member called in sick. Boss had to come in and cover until Sue could come in early. Boss wanted to use the time on site to do paperwork at the back. I'll be in here if you have any questions. I very annoyingly had a lot of questions. How to avoid an incorrect transaction, where to find more special paper for the credit card machine, what to do when the coffee grinder stopped working. Finally, boss said, "I'm busy. Don't bother me unless it's an emergency. Let me know when Sue is here." Shyly, I replied, "That's what I came to tell you. Sue just arrived." "Great. Any more questions? Ask her." Sue took over the coffee area and got me on restocking, clearing tables, and emptying the bins, and other necessary grunt work. I went out to the outside bins through the little staff parking area and saw my boss's old car there with the headlights still on. I went back to my boss's office. "Boss, is it an emergency?" Boss snapped. "Not to me," I replied. "Then go away." I left quickly. I went to tell Sue instead. "Sue." Then I changed my mind. Boss doesn't want to be disturbed unless it's an emergency, so I'm supposed to ask you if I have more questions. Sue and I worked pleasantly until the end of my shift a few hours later. As I gathered my things to leave, Boss ran by me, knocking into me a bit. Without turning around to see if I was okay, Boss said, "Sorry, I'm in a rush." I slowed down to see what happened next, getting my brick of a phone to text my mother I was on my way home. I could hear my boss swearing. "OP!" Oh no. Boss realized that was what I was going to tell them earlier. I was in trouble. "Can you bring your car in and give me a jump start? My battery is flat." Only a few cars could fit, so only senior staff and management could park there. I walked here. I live 10 minutes up the hill. I raced off before Boss could blame me. The next time I was on shift with Sue, I asked what happened to Boss. Headlights left on, got a flat battery. Boss tried to jump start it with my car, but it didn't work. Had to call a taxi. Funny that neither of us noticed the lights were on when we walked by it. And I realized, of course, she had to have seen it when she walked in. I can only imagine why she didn't say anything either. Yes, headlights. Definitely a need for emergency later down the line. Not allowed to remove my neck brace? Okay. Years ago, I was in a bad car accident. An older man turned left in front of me at an intersection and T-boned me. Ambulances were called. I was put on a backboard with a neck brace and brought to the hospital, where I was deposited on the gurney in the hallway, as there were no rooms available at that time. I laid there for quite a while waiting to be seen. My injuries weren't bad, basically just got banged around and bruised up, so I was okay with the waiting. But I was in pain and laying on my back was very uncomfortable. I didn't think there was anything wrong with my neck. The only pain I felt was due to the damn neck brace digging into the bottom of my skull, and I really wanted to lay in a different position. Not only to alleviate some of the pain for the rest of my body, hopefully, but also because I was parked under a light that was blaring in my eyes the whole time. So I started taking off my neck brace. A nurse spotted me doing this and ran over very upset with me and told me I had to keep the neck brace on. I tried telling her my neck was fine, but she was adamant not to remove the brace until the doctor had examined me, which I get. I'm guessing at the very least it goes very much against protocol, and at the very worst, it could have been a huge liability if I took the brace off and there was something wrong. Plus, I didn't want to peeve off the nurse or be one of those patients, so I begrudgingly complied even though I thought it was overkill. I tried to reposition myself as best as I could to the least painful position, not very successfully, unfortunately. However, the damn light blaring directly down was driving me crazy, even when I closed my eyes. Finally, out of frustration, I took the blanket that was over me, pulled it up more, and threw it over my head. Finally, no bright light in my eyes. Bliss. I just laid there trying to block the pain and daydreamed to pass the time, wondering how long I'd be there for. Not too long after I hear what sounds like a bit of a commotion and someone saying something about a dead person in the hallway. I was like, oh my god, that's freaky. I got that there were no rooms available, but to leave a dead body just lying out for everyone to see? I thought that was uber creepy. Suddenly, the same nurse that gave me short about the neck brace pulls the blanket off my head, scaring the short out of me, and she starts yelling at me that I'm not allowed to put the blanket on my head, and what the was I doing? It was then that I realized the dead body they were talking about was me. I said, oh short, I'm so sorry. I just wanted the light out of my eyes. I can't move my head with the neck brace on. To say the nurse was not impressed would be an understatement. But she did find a room to move me and position me not under any light, which I thanked her for very much. She just gave me a surly look and walked away. Sorry! Lol. You made yourself into a dead body on accident. That sort of fits into r/Tfue a bit. Print out the internet? Yes, ma'am. This is about a decade ago, but still within the realm of the internet. I was a technical writer for the government and had slowly been transferring an old employee handbook, think government bureaucracy from the 1940s, into a modern and actually useful doc. Think one page with policies and links to useful websites like Office of Personal Management, forms for workman comp, etc., 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 etc. Stop using etc. My boss wanted the whole thing printed out on her desk the next morning. This was Monday of the Thanksgiving weekend. I printed out the 200 or so pages and just had the links to the various websites in bold. This took about an hour, so I left her on her desk before going home that night. She calls me in her office on Tuesday afternoon and proceeds to yell at me at how stupid I am. Do I think people can just go to a website when it is on paper? No, I need to print everything out. I can only tell her that these sites are pretty dense and deep, and it would be about 10,000 pages. She says she does not care. It needs to be on her desk, damn it! First thing Monday morning. Mind you, this is now Tuesday, and we usually had some of Wednesday off. I was not really planning to work Thursday for Thanksgiving or Friday, as I applied for leave and was looking forward to a nice, relaxing, long weekend. I don't have family, but I have plans. But, okay. I asked for and got the request to have everything pertaining to the employee handbook online in a printed format. I also had real work and real deadlines. Quick bit of context. She was my boss, she did my performance appraisals, and she could make my life miserable and possibly fire me. However, my clients were teams that put together engineering plans, biological assessments, scientific journal articles, reports to the Congress, etc., 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 etc. Stop using etc. That had real-world deadlines. On some of these, if you missed the publication date, your agency added $100,000 a day in delay fees, or you would peeve off a congressperson, which is never a good idea. And I was getting really sick and tired of my boss's requests that took me away from my actual work. So I was printing all the rest of Tuesday afternoon, and then Wednesday. I had to go to the site, print, click on the next link, print, etc. On Wednesday, we got a congressional letter from a Congress critter that was actually important. Had we not gotten that, I might not have done what I did, I got overtime approved pronto to take care of this request. So I did work Thanksgiving. As I was doing that, I kept on printing and printing. I used up every sheet of paper in a 14-story building. I kept on researching the response for the congressional, printing, going to the next floor to carefully get that packet of paper to tuck under the appropriate page, etc., etc., etc. I had a paper in about 20 different Congress rooms. I could have done the congressional in about 8 hours, but it was not due until Monday, and all of this printing took me a good 24 hours of work. So I put it in for 32 hours, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and got it done. This is now 2 stacks of paper, each about 6 feet high. I was way under my estimate of 10,000 pages. I was more like 30,000. Remember, I had at least 5 printers going at once for 4 days, etc. I stopped using etc. I put this in my boss's office, which was already none too clean and pristine. I got written up with a disciplinary hearing and everything. The charge was malicious compliance. I kept my job only because I did have her request in email. So yeah, this person got to keep their job after following the rules in the most malicious way. I love how you printed 30,000 pages. Every link, everything had to be printed. I feel like the boss should get some flack for doing that. Like, come on. And on that note of paper, I'm going to end this episode here. Links will be in the description to the main channel and the second channel for you guys to go check out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when video comes out. A ding, a ding. I'm the Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist out.